Packers running back Jamal Williams led Green Bay in rushing yards in their win against the Broncos. And with rainy conditions at Lambeau, Jamal embraced the opportunity. Say what?
I love it. I love it all. The rain, because I think the rain slows everybody else down. So I feel like, I gotta say, I feel like a mermaid. I feel like a mermaid and everybody else is like dogs swimming. You know what I mean? So I be feeling like I'm just fluent out there. So I think it's the rain. I feel like SpongeBob.
I love it. That's great. Now, I'm a little old for SpongeBob, but kids Jamal's age and younger grew up on it. I would recommend strongly, Jenna, you take your children to SpongeBob the Musical on Broadway.
I don't know if they're
Anyone
ready
in
yet.
the New York area, that is, I mean, a show spectacular. I like that from Jamal Williams.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, what? Y'all can't get down with it?
Well, I mean,
Little Krabby Patty?
Dogs do swim, though.
Yeah, but not as well as
Super
mermaids.
slow.
He's saying they're swimming doggy paddling.
I mean, well,
you
this
want
is the thing.
mermaids.
I've seen some dogs swim. You seen a mermaid swim?
Of course.
Okay.
What? Same place I seen SpongeBob.
There's a lot of different. There's a lot of other animals in the sea you could have been that swim
He
really,
went
really
with
fast.
mermaid, and he went with SpongeBob. Let the kid
I'm gonna
live,
imagine
man.
my partner used to have a bald head. He was smart.
Mermaid.
The bald head partner, yes. My imagination.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Sharks would have been a good,
Not you,
good
Jenna.
one, I think.
No, Jenna, no.
All kinds of confusion.
No.
The Jenna Wolf story.
I don't think he'll be doing a whole bunch of errands.
I liked it. Nah, feature running back for the Packers. Aaron Jones out, the mermaid in.
Brian Westbrook, let's talk about your former team. And CC, your former team, the Eagles. They lost.
They won't claim me.
Nope.
They lost in week 3 to the Detroit
That's why they
Lions.
dropping the ball, because they ain't got no wide receiver. How'd that go?
Ain't so fun no more, right?
Yeah, all them Hall of Famers they got.
It's salty.
The team had, speaking of, 7 drop passes, 3 offensive pass interference calls. Head coach Doug Peterson said his team has to flip the script and move on because they face the Packers in a big game on Thursday Night Football on Fox. All right, Brian, what is the biggest reason for the Eagles' slow start?
Well, I mean, I think, number one, you have to protect your quarterback. They have to do a better job of protecting Carson. Carson has to be a little bit more accurate at the beginning of games. But I think you have to develop an identity. We talked about it with the Cleveland Browns. What is your identity going to be? You have you invested some capital in Jordan Howard, getting a running back. You invested a second-round pick in Miles Sanders, who keeps fumbling the football. You got to hold on to it. But let's run the football a little bit. We talk about one of the best offensive lines in the business. Well, allow those big guys to lean on some guys and put some guys down the field a little bit. I want them to establish a run game, especially when you talk about you're missing Deshaun Jackson, you're missing Alshon Jeffrey in the football game. Well, the guys that you invested in, they're behind the quarterback. Run the football just a bit. Unfortunately, they're not willing to do that. I think, of course, the injuries, you got to get some guys healthy. But most importantly, take advantage of your opportunities. They have big-time opportunities in these last 2 games. If they catch 2 balls, they're 3-0. Unfortunately, if they're really one long drop away from being 0-3 in the Redskins game. And so they missed a bunch of opportunities. They have to do better. These young guys have to step up. Every young guy has an opportunity in this league to say, hey, it's my time to shine. And if you don't do the most with that opportunity, that may be your last. These guys did not make the most of their opportunities last weekend, and unfortunately lost because of it.
And Philly's putting themselves in a position where they have such little margin of error in the second half of games because they're not showing up in the first half. Even in their win, Washington was whooping them in the first half where they got going. First half, week 1, 1.4 points per drive. First half, week 2, 1 point per drive. First half, week 3, 1.6 points per drive. Now, in the second half, they've gotten going. But I don't know if that's Doug Peterson. I don't know if that's play calling. I don't know if that's offensive design. But it's not as if they just all of a sudden lost their wide receivers and then they came back for the second half of these games. That's not the situation. In fact, the injuries mount as the game goes on, but that's when the offense has gotten better. I'm not putting this on Wentz. There are a lot of questions about Wentz and his ability to stay healthy this year. The Wentz-Dak debate's going to roar all year long. Obviously, Dak's playing great. I think Carson Wentz actually has played pretty damn well. He did in the Atlanta game. He was under constant duress. Thought he played really tough. In this game this weekend against Detroit, his numbers were fine. They would have been excellent if receivers could have held onto the football. I think Wentz is doing his job. But the offense as a whole has not been doing its job. What's supposed to be the #1 offensive line in football has looked nothing close to it. And one of everybody's favorite great young coaches, Doug Peterson, has not been great as far as a results standpoint thus far this year. And this is one of my favorite phrases, but it's true. It can get late early. Let Dallas beat Teddy Bridgewater and get to 4-0 while you fall in 48 hours or however long it would be, 60 hours to 1-3 by losing at Green Bay, and you're 3 back of the Cowboys after the first quarter of the season. That nobody could have seen that coming. So Philadelphia's got a lot of issues, and to me, losing a home game to Detroit, even though Detroit maybe is better than I thought, is a big, big red flag.
Yeah, for both of you. The number one point, Doug Peterson, I think it's not being fair to Doug. I think Doug, in his overall manage of this team, deciding to take last Wednesday off, I thought was a good move by him. And he's calling a hell of a game. If Aguilar doesn't drop the ball in Atlanta, they win that game.
That's right.
All right? If they don't have these 7 drops, they definitely win this game. So game plan-wise, I'm calling stuff, Nick. They're open. I can't catch the ball for them. So, Doug, that's not his fault. As far as the offensive line not having some type of identity, to me, that is the biggest problem. Jordan Howard should be carrying the ball. When you know you can't practice, why would you put in all these 3 and 4 receiver sets when you know your top line guys are hurt? So why didn't they go to a more power attack in the game against Detroit to try to get through that game? And you know, I got 2 games in 5 days. Like, your season could be derailed really quick. So I'm concerned about, last thing is the protection. And Jason Peters. I know Jason Peters is probably a friend of yours. I'm sure you know him. He's looking old. All right? And it's hard for us to talk about veteran players. When is he done playing? He looks old. He looked old last year. We tried to give him benefit of the doubt this year. They drafted someone in the first round, so he's injured in the game. Then his backup gets injured in the game. But I'm concerned about the overall lack of powerful offensive line at Philadelphia. Yeah, they're ranked as one of the top, but how they're playing is totally different. And last thing to finish it up, they had an alumni weekend. They call it their Hall of Fame weekend. You don't invite Cris Carter. I played there I started 32 straight games for them. A couple playoff games in there. They don't invite me to the weekend, and then they have 7 drops.
Yep.
You wonder why the firefighters are talking about the people.
That's why.
Tommy McDonald, old legendary player. He's in the Hall of Fame. People don't know him, late, great Tommy McDonald. They don't have no receivers in the Hall of Fame, so you don't invite Cris Carter. No. You wonder how the home game's going to turn out. Yeah,
they don't turn out well.
Yeah, you got 4 receivers with Edward Scissorhands out there. Yeah, that's what happens to you, Philly, when you don't acknowledge me, don't invite me.
Chris is he's not bitter about anything.
Nope.
So
you got a good memory too.
They were having an alumni weekend. Why wouldn't they invite me, Jenna?
It's almost cute. It's almost.
What's so cute about it?
It's almost adorable.
My high school reunion too. They were having a 10-year reunion. I looked at the list. I was lost on there. I'm in the NFL. How could I be lost? Jeez.
Brian, thank you so much.
Goodbye, man.
Got to take a break. We're back. We are going viral. Reigning MVP Patrick Mahomes leads the league with 10 passing touchdowns this season. And the athletic Kansas City has taken notice of Mahomes' prowess, tweeting, "In case you missed it, Patrick Mahomes has thrown 36% of Troy Aikman's career touchdowns in about 8% of the games." Well, Aikman claps back, commenting, "In case you missed it, talk to me when he has 33% of my Super Bowl titles."
Oh.
Bravo, Troy.
Troy being generous there, though. Saying Patty only has to get 33% of the titles. So what's that? He's got 5 months? 5 months, and then he'll be able to talk to him about it?
Well, I don't know. Are they going to buy a defense in the meantime?
I don't know. See, I don't know if you've been watching. Defense is much improved.
No, I haven't been watching the NFL.
Defense much improved, my friend. Much improved.
Let me just say, that was a very witty and quirky and very enjoyable answer retort by Troy Aikman.
They didn't have to do that.
No.
They didn't have to write that. They didn't have to pull Troy out of it. Like,
Troy minding his own business.
Troy played in a different era. All right? He played on that 1-15 team. He took a beating and then recovered to be able to win 3 Super Bowls with one of the greatest runners ever, if not the greatest runner ever, in Emmitt Smith. Teams built totally different.
Yep.
But Troy can flat out sling it.
And he can flat out tweet.
Yeah, he's a mean dude now. He got a mean disposition. People don't realize that about Troy.
Time for stories to start your morning. Last night, Case Keenum struggled big time on Monday Night Football against the Bears. He threw 3 picks. He lost 2 fumbles. But his head coach, Jay Gruden, said he doesn't plan to make a switch at quarterback anytime soon. See, do you agree, or is it time for Washington to start Dwayne Haskins?
No, it's still earlier in the season, and he does.